How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So last video was pull request, I think number 4, as part of our series. I just pushed up some updates on this, so I'm just going to go through each of the changes and yeah, just talk about them. So let's look at the first comment I had on here. That specifically is for actually, this is addressed, but this was just a reminder comment, so I'm actually going to go to the second one. Okay, so the first comment I'm going to start is this comment I had here is to only execute the connect method when connection and channel are either null or closed, right? Because when you establish a connection and your channel, those will remain open for, for the lifetime of this application because I registered the service as a singleton. So in my case, once I establish that connection, I don't want to reestablish it, right? So I have this connect method. So what I ended up doing actually was where's my connect? Right here. I added this bit of logic here to say that if the connection is null, or excuse me, if the connection is not null and the connection is open and the channel is not null and the channel is open, return, because now we know then we have a successful connection. I probably could, now that I'm talking about this, I probably could take this a step further to say that if the connection is open, but the channel, for whatever reason, closed, we only want to open a new channel. I could probably extend that actually to do that, to take care of that, but actually that might be something I might do, is change a little bit of this in terms of maybe modifying it down here. I could do that actually, so because this, I think it's possible that the channel may close, but your connection may remain open. So if anyone has seen that happen, now I'm thinking about it, I may want to extend this and say and kind of like provide the ability for this connect method to open up multiple channels, because you can have multiple channels on a connection. So perhaps perhaps this might be an opportunity to bring that functionality in here to say, like, add a bool or a parameter to my connect method for, create new channel, default that to, or make it a bool if it's true. Go ahead and create a new channel, but if it's not, first check that there's no existing channel opened and then create a new channel. Maybe. Now that I'm thinking about it, I would have to probably change how I'm declaring the channel. I have to probably make it probably a list of channels, perhaps. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, I may make this a separate PR, because I think that that'll change a little bit of the implementation. So I think I'm going to leave it like this for now, but I will make a note for myself to make a follow-up and then address that. But for right now, I think that this should be good, at least for my purpose. So that's the first change. So I think that takes care of that comment. So I'm going to go ahead and resolve that. And next comment is, oh, actually, I think we missed. I think I might have missed this comment, so I probably actually will pull open my code after this video, and this will probably make its way into the next PR video. But I did want to check that the delivery tags are in the list. Okay, so that is one that I missed, so I'll go back and do that. The next comment here is I needed to add essentially a timeout check for this loop. So I have a stream consumer running, and I want to know, like, hey, this is when it's reached either the end of the stream or when it's reached its allotted time frame it has to operate in. So what I did actually is I just took advantage of the cancellation token that I have passed into the method. And I'm just, instead of just setting this to while true, which is probably something you want to avoid, I have this set to while cancellation token is not canceled, then go ahead and execute this loop. And then inside the loop I have the remaining count here, that if it does not increment, then we know, okay, we probably are good to close this. But then I have outside the loop, so when I have canceled the cancellation token, because I am setting now a timeout, I'm going to go ahead and just cancel on the channel and then return whatever I have in my messages up to that point. So that'll allow me to set a limit to how long this background task is running, but just return whenever one of those two things happens. So I think that should be acceptable for what we're trying to do. So I'm going to go ahead and resolve that. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is pertinent to the last change I talked about. So I did introduce a static class for cancellation tokens, and I introduced two methods essentially overriding each other. One accepting a int, and I'm going to call it delay seconds. So how, when do I want to cancel after by? And then one of them I'm accepting an action, and then the other one I'm accepting a func delegate. So what I'm basically doing is constructing my cancellation token source. I'm setting the cancel after, and then I'm optionally setting the callback to and I'm registering that on the token itself. My use case for this is I wanted to just register a log to happen upon cancellation, but I want to extend it, right? Maybe I didn't want to pass in a log, or maybe I wanted to pass in like a method to run or whatever. So I tried to make this a little bit extendable. So I did create two of them, one for a func, one for an action, and you'll see how I'm using those in a second. So yeah, this is a static class, and let's go into my message viewing service, because that's also where I did some of the work here. So in order for the cancellation to get into the RabbitMQ service, I had to add some code here for constructing that cancellation token. So I am calling that static method. I'm passing in a 30 for the seconds, so that'll be the timeout. So after 30 seconds, the cancellation token will be requested to cancel, and then I'm passing in the log that I want to have happen upon cancellation. So if this is canceled, I'm going to get this log message, and then it should be good. Another thing that I did here inside of this message viewing service is I did add a little bit of just basic error handling. So I'm getting the data from my RabbitMQ service, and then I created a generic response class to basically encapsulate the data, but also the HTTP status code. So I'm checking to see, okay, if data is null or doesn't have any elements, I'm going to return no content for HTTP status. Otherwise, I'm going to return OK, and then with the data that's returned. And then outside, if there was an exception, let's say on this method here, I'm going to catch that and then put the exception on here, and then return that in my response object. So I'm just going to return an internal server error. So I do that the same for stream messages as well as queue messages. So I think for my case that's fine. I feel like it's generic enough that it allows me to extend this later on if I need to. And then inside of the controller, so I'm just going to now resolve this conversation because I showed you that I am handling logging. All right, so I might have put it on did I put it on the home controller or the message viewing controller? Okay, I thought I had put a comment about status code, but whatever. So now I'm getting the response from the message viewing service, which is going to be that generic response class here. So I'm getting that, and then I'm just returning status code with that status code from the payload, as well as the data from the message, which I actually probably could just return the entire message object. Now that I think about it, I probably don't need to be returning just the data. I probably could return all of it, but I'll probably, I guess I'll probably leave it as data for now. If I feel like I need all the things on this, I can do that. But I feel like the client that I'm going to have consuming this is probably, well, I don't know. I got to think about that. I might keep that, or I might change that to just the whole response object to be returned. So anyway, I think this is fine, at least for the controller. I like that it's just like service response, return the status code. That's really how I feel like controllers should operate. Controllers shouldn't really, in my opinion, be doing like this kind of work. But that's just my opinion. That's just how I kind of see it. I just prefer to have my controllers really, really minimal, and not having those do a lot of the checks. The reason for that is just because I just don't like having like the controller having any knowledge of like the service, right? I just don't like having to check like, okay, well, is the response from the service, do I have to check certain business logic things, right? Because I may want to extend this. I may want to extend this to say, hey, I don't know, like I may want to return a new status code depending on like something returned from here, or I may want to have a custom response from my RabbitMQ service to say like, maybe a queue wasn't available or a stream wasn't available or something like that, and then I can have a custom status code, and then I can just return it in this, and then I don't have to modify my controller. It just propagates all the way down to my controller just fine. So that's just how I see it. There's different designs around this, but this is one that I kind of have been leaning towards. I'd probably the past, I don't know, probably for a while now, I think. But anyway, I think that this is all of the PR comments that we had talked about in the last video. So yeah, let me know what y'all think, but I'm going to keep going through some of the comments I had here, and yeah, just keep working on it. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.